For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in that games meeting combined. I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services including Spotify and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to be part of future conversations, please check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All our links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures where you can watch us record this show live. You become part of the chat and have a good time. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you want to support us in other ways, you can give us a 5-star rating and a written review on podcast services like Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. Or if you're on the YouTubes, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, maybe even comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Max, happy not so PAX Australia weekend.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of bummed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sucking sad, eh? It's one of those things. It wasn't until I realized, like, it was Friday morning and I was at work and it was like 10 o'clock. And I'm like, oh man, this is PAX weekend. Oh, and I'd be in there right now, like playing something cool, because we would have been in there for like what, half an hour or something, because of the press. Oh.
I mean, it's a bit of a bummer. It would have been my first year to go as press.
Yeah, it would have been. That would have been awesome, and especially on a next gen year, it would have been. This would have been
the year to go.
Like, I remember, like, I think the only really new technology I've been a part of it while being in press was like when VR was a thing, and we went and got super handsy with it at a number of different events like EB Expo and stuff like that, and that was awesome. Like, because we weren't covering, we weren't in the biz back then, but when like the PS4 made its way in, but. Yeah, Dave in the chat, I would have loved to catch up with the lads and grab a frothy. Man, I would have loved. And I think that's probably the one thing that I'm going to miss the most from this weekend. And not all the cool video games and stuff, but that's fantastic and that's awesome. I would love to have done that again. But it's the big thing is that, yeah, I'm not seeing all my peoples. Seeing them, like, because like this thing, because we see each other once a year, and that won't happen now. It's heartbreaking.
It is a little bit.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. But like, there's not much we can do. We just got to kind of push through it, I suppose, and cry externally and internally where possible. Because it would have been great to sort of do that annual catch up, as Dash says in the chat there, and just sort of see all the peeps and be like, hey, I would hug them and stuff, which you probably couldn't have done anyway, even if it was open.
Yeah, there'd be no hugging.
There'd be no hugging.
There'd be no hugging.
And look, I'm just gonna put it out there: PAX wouldn't be the same if there was no hugging. But he goes, missing out on the people is the worst part of no PAX, especially this year. Big time.
I don't know. Considering, like, I went 3 years ago now. It's been PAX is a hot mess. Like, literally a hot mess. I wouldn't want to hug anyone there anyway.
No, I don't hug random people. I hug my friends who I know don't smell like armpit and asshole. I mean, it's the general populace is where the stank is. Dave, I would elbow touch you so hard. There'd be so many foot high fives, let me tell you. But you know what? I'd break the rules. I'd hug. There are a number of people that I would really, really want to hug because I haven't seen them in forever, and I need their presence. I need them around me. Park goes, need to get one of those full human body condoms like that in like a Naked Gun and just hug everyone. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm less person now, but I can get multiple peoples in the same hug. You know what I mean? Just make it break social distancing even more. You know. And because that's the other thing. Like I know I talked about a couple of weeks ago when I was very kind enough to co-host the Dash Gamer podcast with Dash on PAX Online. So I got to be in PAX while still not being at PAX. Still got to be involved in it, which was cool. But they're here right now is what would have been PAX weekend. So this is my goal weekend. And I've lost somewhere between 25, 26 kilos with my original goal. So that's from March until now. So that's within 6 months. I've lost 25. 7 months. No, yeah, 7 months. So within 7 months, I've lost 25, 26 kilos, which has been absolutely amazing. So I'm putting it out there. I believe that I hit my goal of being pretty for PAX. I've talked about it before. I want to talk about it again because once this weekend leaves, I can no longer discuss my pretty for PAX goals because PAX is gone, and then I have to make new goals. But yeah, look, I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it here as well. A big thank you to everyone that helped me along this journey. You know, my this weight loss journey that I've been involved on, whether it be by getting involved and jumping on the shake with me, or messaging me and giving me kind words and supporting words. And it's certainly not been like the easiest journey. Like it's been easy, quote unquote, because it's losing, like, just doing things. It's become my routine now. But there has been a lot of mental fortitude that I've had to create between now and then in order to get to this point. So all the kind words, all the lovely things that have been said, and all the well wishes, and yeah, even just saying, even when I've heard or I've received messages from people saying, "Hey, thanks to you, I have now jumped on the man shake," or something like that, which is absolutely amazing. That means the world to me because I had never considered in my life that I would be someone's inspiration for weight loss, because I've always been a garbage person, or two, which is a bit of news that I announced this week, that I had been approached by the Man Shake to become one of their ambassadors, or hashtag Manbassadors. So along with myself and Jerd and Lloyd and Tim and Jamie, we're the 5 Manbassadors of the Man Shake. It's it's been an absolutely insane experience. I never have. As I said, I'm repeating myself, but never have I would have thought that a health food would be like, "We like what you do." If anything, I was expecting emails like, "You should probably eat this, you fat piece of shit. Like, why aren't you doing this already? We're especially targeting you because you're shit, and you need this food product," but not the other way, which is the way I'm on right now. So, it's been awesome. And yeah, if it wasn't for you guys helping and supporting me, there's no way I would have got to that position at all, including you, Max. Because even you yourself, the shakes weren't for you, but you jumped on that journey with me. You've been supporting me this whole way through. Fucking legend, Max. Just want to say.
I'm good. Yeah. It's been, for you especially, it's been a fantastic year, all things considered.
Yeah. Goes all right.
Way to turn a very shit year into a positive.
Which is really like not me either. I'm normally like, well, everything sucks. I'm just gonna go lie down. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I've been able to take this year into another direction. Like everyone's like, "This year blows." I'm like, "This year fucking rocks." This pandemic can eat my arsehole. Other than that, Max,
it's also been. Sorry, I'm just going to continue this for a very brief moment. If you didn't do weekly videos, this would be the perfect weight loss year because you can't see anyone, and then when you can see people again, it's like the big reveal.
Actually,
everyone's like
yeah, that's been part of it because there are people that I work with that I don't see that often because they're in head office, and we also have our bubbles, so our sites can't commingle. So there are people that I haven't seen for most of this year, if not at all this year. And then now that in regional Victoria, the restrictions are sort of easing, we're able to sort of mingle between sites a little bit more. Pardon me, I'm getting those responses, which is insane, which has been really, really cool. But yeah, because I'm still not done yet. As I said, I started this year at 140 kilos. I'm now sitting at 115, 114. My plan is to hit 100, so I'm not done yet. So I'll be seeing I'll be doing it until the end of the year and in the next year, and then you see me next year. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be hot as shit for PAX. It doesn't rhyme, but I'm gonna be hot as shit for PAX. You know, that's what I'm gonna say. I want to get so confident and thin next year, like just the middle through PAX. I'll just fucking whip my shirt off and everything's cool. That's the level of confidence and thinness that I want to get. Where it's like, what day is it? It's like Wednesday till the Arvo. Bam.
Don't be that PAX guy. don't be that PAX guy.
How was your week been, Max?
It has been a week. I have been physically exhausted this week. Work's starting to apparently pick up out of nowhere. Apparently more people are heading into the office. They thought it was a good idea to start training new people. So
and everyone's just messy as balls, I imagine.
I've gotten a lot busier than what I have been in a while, so getting back into the swing of it. Daylight savings has wrecked my kid's sleeping pattern, so that's been fun.
Yeah, man. Fucked my kid up.
Loving that. I managed to get my kid to bed at 11:15 last night.
In her defense, it's 9:45.
Yeah, so that kind of... Apart from that, my week's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Playing some games, but mainly it's just working the kid.
It's going through the motions. What have you been playing, Max?
What have I been playing? I've been playing Crash.
Ooh, yeah. So we've touched upon that from last that we handed down our first impressions. We should also disclose that the code for the game was provided to us by Activision Australia.
So I'm about 3 worlds in now, I think. Man, this game's good. I'm liking the addition of some of the new characters. I really enjoyed the first Dingo Dial level you get to play as. So you kind of have a vacuum gun. You can kind of suck all the boxes up and then use them to shoot TNT and whatnot. It's interesting that just the simplistic changing up of a character makes an entire level the way you approach it completely different, because it's not just jump and spin. Like Dingo Dial can't slide, so there's no double jumping and sliding. He kind of uses his vacuum to hover over gaps, and it just makes you tackle the level in a completely different way, which is nice.
The thing that's still fucking me off now, I don't know whether this was in the old ones or not, because I'm the way that it feels makes me like confident that it wasn't. But when you double jump or when you slide jump, momentum stops.
Yes.
That's different, right? Because I remember being able to, and you'd be able to still move a little bit more. But now it's like, stop. I'm like, what the fuck?
Your momentum does stop a lot more abruptly than what it did, but they've given you a bigger grace period on the fact of you can slide off the edge and still jump off nothing and get your double jump.
Okay, well, that's it. Okay.
So, that's not, yeah. Because there's a portion in a level to get one of the hidden gems. You have to slide off the edge of a platform to dodge the nitro block, to dodge the nitro box. But then you have to double jump back up on top of it without touching anything. So it's a little bit more forgiving than what it used to be.
Nice.
Other than that, I've been playing a little bit more Mafia. I am. I'm pretty close to the end, I think. I just did the... there's this kind of like an escort mission through a mansion. You had to escort a guy to a safe cracker.
Yep.
Really cool. He got stuck a few times. That was a little bit frustrating. As most escort missions are. But man, this game is good.
Oh man, so I rolled credits on Mafia last night. So that time of recording, so it was Friday night. That game is fucking awesome. It is so good. Like from our discussions around Mafia 2 and how it was like, I don't know, subpar and not very good at all. This game is fantastic. Like the linear nature of it, so the mission to mission structure is brilliant. So it feels like you're always doing something cool. Even like escort missions, like you said, still feel cool. Character development is amazing. Watching the growth of Tommy or watching the growth of Sam and Paulie, and like as you come towards the end of the game and you're seeing them change, and little moments that you may not have picked up earlier, and then later and like boom, and you're like, and it's all coming together. The game is fantastic. I love it so much, and it's baffling. Like how good it can look sometimes. Like in cutscenes, and I've said this before. Like it is the beauty of lighting. Lighting is what makes a game look brilliant, and Mafia knows how to make that lighting work. So when they've got the little hats and the way it casts a shadow across their face, or even just when they've lit something on fire or they're lighting a cigarette and the way it looks on their face, the game's God damn it. I only really had like a couple technical problems on the back end. One was when I was a couple times. So when I was driving too fast for the game to pick up, and it's like, oh, hang on, it's trying to load the grass in the country area, and it started to wig out a little bit, couldn't quite keep up. But once I stopped and it loaded for a bit, and then it was able to keep up. Additionally, there's a mission a little bit later, about 2 or 3 after where you are, and I'm just fanging it from the cops, and I take a corner, and as I turn into the corner, nothing is rendered at all. It's just all fuzzy, and then it goes, oh, and then it's back in, and then I'm like,
yeah, I haven't had any technical issues since the start of the game where I got stuck in a mission because it didn't load the next checkpoint for me. So I was just stuck there for a while.
Additionally, there was a moment where the game... so you come out of this mission and you're on a motorbike and you're chasing a car. The camera locked, but looking behind, like face back. So I'm on a motorbike and I can't steer because everything's locked, and I just hit the back of a car and just eat shit. Later on, in that same level, I'm driving across a bridge, and I hit a barrier, and Tommy, still in his motorbike stance, just goes, and the bike stays, just goes, and then it's like, oh, you failed because you left the bike. But other than that, it's been absolutely immaculate. Like just the character work in this is so good. Like it's actually really disappointing that like the Mafia 2 is what, like, even though the remaster itself was pretty poo, but like if Mafia 2 was the follow-up to this, it wasn't as good. Like the story wasn't as good. Whether the remaster, because the presentation was so poor, it didn't land as well. But these are night and day, in my opinion.
I think the game just worked better as a linear. There was you weren't getting sidetracked having to drive from point A to point B to start a mission. Having it just go
or
one
drive
after
back
the
to
other,
your apartment.
Yeah. And the last thing I've been playing this week, I picked up Baldur's Gate 3 in early access. Now this game is super early access.
Yeah, is it rough?
You watch cutscenes and one line will be voice acted and facial animated, and the next line they'll just have no movement of lips. They'll just be speaking. Lots of bug crashes, but damn, that game's good. Like, there's so many. It's very early access. I've had it for, I think it released on Friday morning for us. Since Friday morning, there's been 4 hotfix bug packs. So it is early access.
But you knew that going in, right?
Oh, I knew that going in. They were like, here are our options. We delay this game, we're delaying this game, or we give you early access and we just keep working on it. And everyone's like, early access. So this is a full-priced early access game. If you buy it now, it's not any cheaper than what it's going to be on release. Yeah. But damn, it's good.
Well, that'd be cool. So you're actually going to see it literally happen. So this is the full-blown like beta alpha process.
So when I played it I played a bit this morning. I picked up from where I left off, and as you load your save, your character spawns in a T-pose with nothing around them, and then all the model assets get added in for the level. It's
wow, you aren't kidding.
Yeah, it is rough, but it's fun. What about you? Have you played anything else that we haven't touched on?
So Mafia is the big one. So I got credits on that last night, as I said. On top of that, I finally wrapped up the Spoods DLC. So last week on stream, I finished the second one, and then Thursday night, I finished the third, which is the Silver Linings. The DLC is brilliant.
Which was your favorite?
Oh, the second one by far. The whole story with Black Cat and with this little hint.
Wasn't Black... Okay, I'm confused. I thought Black Cat was the first one. So you like the Black Cat one?
Whichever the one that was like...
I thought Turf Wars was second, and Turf Wars was...
Oh, yeah, Turf Wars is poo. Yeah, and the first one, Black Cat was mad. Yeah,
cool.
The whole idea, maybe Peter's a dad. I'm like, oh, shit! Like, man, that's awesome. I like where this is going.
Maybe that's why he's changing his face.
Maybe because he doesn't want to pay out child support. So he's like, if I ever do face, it's not me anymore. Yeah, like the Black Cat one was great. Hammerhead was kind of boring, but I really enjoyed how it's setting up these little key story points moving into Miles Morales. I imagine if I didn't play these ahead of Miles Morales in November, I would be at a very different place of understanding, I think. I think I'd go into Miles Morales being like, where here I have context, like, there's a bit more information around how he's teaching Miles and what Miles is up to. Now, granted, we don't see any of him. We only see, Peter and as Spoods and, like Silver Sable and Hammerhead and that sort of shit. Like, there's not, it's probably like, 6 hours? Or a bit more than that, because each one's like 3 or 4 hours to probably get.
There's about 12 hours of content.
Yeah, that'd be about right. So I have 100% of them all as well. So I'm sitting at now a 97% trophy count for all of it. The other 2 trophies are to get a New Game Plus playthrough and on the hardest difficulty. With the remaster right around the corner, I ain't fucking touching it. I ain't doing it. No way. I'm just gonna leave it at 97. We'll talk about trophy levels a little bit later though, because that's a change that happened this week. But yeah, no, it's really good. I'm really excited. So earlier in the year, I made a short list of gaming goals. And of course, finish as many games as I can, get as many credits is always the big one. But I wanted to complete a series of games before the PS5. And that was Ratchet and Clank, which I've done. Spider-Man DLC, which I have done. There was another one. I forget what it was. I don't remember now. But then there was Horizon Zero Dawn, which I need to go back and finish. My rerun of it. And then the other is Resident Evil 7. Now, because I that's me presumably thinking that Resident Evil 8 is probably going to come out early next year. Like they've got for the last 3 years they've released something annually, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to see it probably early next year because there's a lot of marketing around it right now. So I'm gonna maybe not January like the other 2 were, the other 3 were. Sorry, the other 2. Wait,
were they Feb?
Yeah, because 7 and 2 were late January, and I think Resi 3 got pushed back a little bit in effect.
So the big question is, will you replay it in VR?
No. Nuh-uh.
Chicken.
Yeah. I've played it in VR. Dave and myself and Josh and Dylan, we all played it at EB Expo in VR. Like they had like a mock building of a little cabin. It was great. We went in there and then I played. I was like, "Ha! No, nuh-uh, nuh-uh, no."
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm not that ballsy, but no, I'm very excited to see it. That's coming next year. So I reckon I'm trying to think. It's like Final Fantasy. Resident Evil 7's like I don't know 8 hours ish, 10 hours. I can chip through that pretty easily. Horizon will be the bitch to get done before November. That one's going to be a sit. I don't think I'll get there. But I'll keep trying anyway. Sorry, in the chat, Dave gives a proposition to you, Max. He says, if you're keen, tonight there is a Rocket League tournament and we need a third for our 3v3.
You super don't want me, Dave.
Do you want to bring the team down?
I'm really not as good as you. You should give me credit.
And Dave
I get carried by my friends.
Dave also says, I may have shed a little tear seeing your before and after pictures on LinkedIn. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And Darkestone says, do it. Horizon is the bomb. Yeah, I do need to get back into it. Like, it's one of those ones I got reasonably deep into it, I think. Well, I know I spent a lot of time in it when it first came out, but that was the year that I decided, I was like, I'm just going to play everything. So now my goal is to play things with more focus, with more intent. So rather than playing like, I don't know what that is, I'll play that. I don't know what that is, I'll play that. Where now it's like, well, what I play, I'm presuming that I'm going to get the credits. So when we reach out for review or when I pick up a game, that is my goal. That is my plan. Now, granted, on the list of games we played this year, there are some that don't have credits, like Avengers. Oh, probably the main campaign. But, there's like House Flipper doesn't really have credits because I just played that. But there's any of the games as service games, it's gonna make it a little bit harder. Like MLB The Show doesn't have credits. You just keep playing until you stop.
Ghost of Tsushima
Is not getting credits. Fuck that game. Game is. I don't enjoy that game.
I went back to it because obviously I stopped playing it to play Fairy Tail.
Yeah, that's right.
and by the time I got back to Ghost, I'm like, where am I up to? What am I? And this game is like super right up my alley, and for some reason I just can't. I don't know what it is. There's just something that's not clicking with me.
Mm. Yeah, and like that's the same thing. It's like the repetition was killing it for me, and I just couldn't keep going. And like the idea, it's like, ooh, you're only halfway through the second island. There's a whole other island. I'm like, fuck it. Well, I don't care.
I mean, as weird as this sounds, it was like, it's so similar to Assassin's Creed, but doesn't do what Assassin's Creed actually does well. So yeah, it's just this. I don't know if it's my own personal issues with it. I don't know what it is. I'd love to try it again. I think I might go back to it, but we'll see how we go.
Well, yeah, because it's not on my.
I really want to finish it too. Like,
yeah, because it's not on my list of musts before the next gen, and knowing that it's as they've now confirmed on the socials, that it's going to play no problem. Saves for Ghost of Tsushima can come over the PS5. I'm like, maybe I'll get to it. Maybe I'll get to it on the PS5. Maybe I'll get all the launch games out, and I get too mad at Demon Souls. I'm like, I'll get mad at another game. So let's play some Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I can't wait for that 5 minutes until you get mad at Demon Souls.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to going fucking frustration. Anyway, Max, let's get into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happens this week in PlayStation.
Let's kick things off with arguably the biggest PlayStation news this week. We saw them tear apart a PS5.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I was sitting here in this room, and I was like, man, what's going on? I pull up Twitter on the computer. I think I just finished watching wrestling, or I was just playing a game. It's like, la la la. Oh, PS5 teardown. And like, it was so early that they hadn't subbed it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it in Japanese going, I have no idea what's going on. Like, I'm just watching them slowly pull apart and screw, and I'm like, I think that's the board.
So, to start things off, we got to see all the inputs on the console. So, we got the standard USB-A on the front as well as a USB-C. And then on the back, we have two more super speed USB. Yep. Pardon?
We got the super speed ones. Yeah.
We got the super speed USB A's on the rear, along with an Ethernet port, HDMI port, obviously, and the power input.
Power is the standard A in figure 8, not the big chunky fuck that the PS4 Pro currently has.
Yep. So the biggest thing that's missing for that would be the optical input. Obviously, I think the Slim doesn't have them, the PS4 Slim.
No, just the original Fat and the Pro. They did announce that it wasn't coming, hence the whole Astro dongle thing.
So Astro are providing, well, they're not providing, they will be selling them, but if you have an Astro headset and you can provide them with your product code or whatever, you will get a discount, but they're going to be sold according to Astro in retailers this month. Ooh. And basically, from what it sounds like, it is a HDMI pass-through similar to that of the PlayStation VR box.
Ah, okay.
And it's supposed to provide you with a lag-free input. Like, it won't take away your lag-free input, and it will allow you to plug your optical audio cable in for those headsets that require optical. So I have a set of 850s. Mine run on optical through the PlayStation 4. But it just uses USB audio if I have them plugged into the PC. I don't need the optical cable. It's really weird that I can't just do that with the PS5 or the PS4, but it needs that optical out, but whatever.
It is.
That's fine. I think they're going to retail at about $30 to $50, depending on what the US conversion is. No, I think they're $30 US, so whatever that is here. And I believe you will get I think it's a $15 voucher or credit towards it if you have a product already, and you can prove that you have a product.
Man.
So that's nice of them, I guess. We also see that the PlayStation 5's collar can be removed quite easily without the use of tools. They seem to just snap and slide off. Really good.
Yeah, the second I saw that, I literally got the video and then went, "Hey Ethan, check this out."
So that's good. So underneath those, you'll find your the PCI slot for a solid state drive if you were looking to expand your memory. And then they show off the ventilation ports, which are apparently, according to the subtitles of that video, vacuum cleaner friendly. So you can kind of just shove your vacuum cleaner on the end of it and give it a clean out, which is good.
I did quite like that. It's like, we have dust catcher. And at the end of the trailer, fine print's like, dust catcher, man, not stop dust. I'm like, yeah. Puck brings up a good point though. Going to be sort of easy to 3D print new sides. That's very true. That's one of the things that I pitched to our good friend Ethan, who is a console modifier. That's his entire business. He's looking at more of the idea of essentially creating a mold and then just casting some new sides, because they'll be a bit stronger and it's probably a bit easier if you have the capabilities to do that, which he does.
You'll probably find that there's probably not going to be as many limited edition consoles. They're just going to sell you swappable faceplates.
Yep.
Which is cheaper for everyone.
When they sort of did that on the PS4, like that sheeny bit on the fat, you could take off and replace it. That's a better idea here. I think if you can be like, hey, here's a Spider-Man side plate. It's like $80. Like the ability to manufacture that more, like on a higher scale, is way easier. Like, you know, if the difficulty right now they're having is meeting a potential demand for the PS5s in general and the price that they're currently going for, it's just like they know they're not going to be able to move special editions. But if they're like, well, if we charge $70 for a side panel that we know is really worth like $20, there's a great margin there, and they can mass produce that shit.
And next up, they showed us some of the base. Interestingly, when in vertical mode, the base needs to be screwed into the PS5.
Makes sense. I don't want to fall over.
And then you're frozen. Cool, you realized. And then to swap it to horizontal mode, you unscrew it, and there is a little hidden pocket in the base, and you twist it, and the screw stays safely inside the base, and then you clip it onto the side of your console and lie it down on its side. They show that the disk drive is completely removable and has its own cooling, which is awesome. That obviously that whole thing will just be missing in the digital editions, so the all digital versions. Then they continue to pull everything else apart, and we get to see the board that runs everything. So, you know, they point out the new custom chip that's running everything. They show the new solid state drive that they designed. And this is probably my only concern with the whole video, was the new SSD are literal chips built into the board. So if that fails, you're sending your PlayStation away.
That is very much a big concern. But the fact that you can just pump a new one in there and very easy, which is nice. However, if there is any fault previously, if you had a fault with the hard drive, you just get a new hard drive, and then you just use a boot, get a boot USB and bam, it's good to go. But here, if it's on the board, that is a big issue. Now, one thing that was mentioned in the chat, and it's been mentioned everywhere, is the size of this motherfucker. It is huge. Like, it's literally as big as that Asian man's torso. Like, he's holding on the table, and it is like, bam. And we worked it out, so it's going to be about yay tall. So I did the... if you go to my Twitter account, link in the description, I took a photo of where, like, this side of the camera, so where all the gear and stuff is, and my allocated space that I'm going to put the PS5. And it's huge, according to the AR little app thingy. It's pretty bonkers, but yeah, it's concerning. Because, like, looking at that board, now I don't know a lot about innards when it comes to tech, right? All I saw on that board, I'm like, there's a lot of empty space on that board. Like, there's a lot of room on that motherboard, from my understanding, like the way I look at that. Now, I have a feeling that because there's going to be a lot of circulating air in that bad boy.
Well, I mean, they did pull out the heatsink, and that thing was huge.
Yeah, it's a huge sink, yeah.
So they also mentioned liquid metal to help keep everything cool as well.
The CPU and stuff, yeah.
So that was interesting. But yeah, so all in all, we got to see how it runs. It looks like it's going to be pretty easy to clean, which is good.
Yeah, big plus. And that will prevent it from becoming a jet engine. Because one of the things, like I know, like since I went and got mine re-thermoed and clean, vacuumed out and stuff, it runs so much better. And I think a lot of it is just, gets super hot in there. The dust isn't helping. The thermal paste gets jacked. It starts getting loud. So majority of people, that's probably the concern. Where here, the liquid metal should assist with that need for thermal, because essentially being thermal paste, right? So that's a positive. The massive heatsink is awesome. There's a lot of empty space for it to go in and out. Great. Because on top of that, like I've come to learn this week that an SSD, like those little sticks, their like optimum running temperature is like 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Like they go fucking hot. So the idea that having that in that box, excluding everything else, working its guts out, I'm like, that's why there's empty space. That's why there is a giant heatsink. One of them is just to manage the SSD temperature.
So speaking of the SSD, earlier this week, now this hasn't been officially confirmed by Sony yet, but Western Digital have announced their next line of NvMe solid state drives, which they have marked as compatible with the PS5. So, keep in mind that Sony said they were going to come out with a compatibility list. That has not happened yet. But Western Digital are pretty certain that their new drive will check all the boxes.
Yeah, it runs like 7,000 megabits per second and stuff. So it's got a bit of beef in it.
Yeah, so the only issue with them is they are quite hefty in price.
But when it comes to this level of technology and the speeds and whatever that they're promising, it is understandable. The only downside is, I believe this may even be in Australian dollars. Like if you want a 2 terabyte SSD, you're looking at like $600.
Yeah, so it's $699 for a 2 terabyte version. They come in 500 gig, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. So it's in prices in USD are $150, $230, $450.
Yeah.
So and we still don't yet know what the PlayStation 5's end.
With the 825 gig storage capacity of the internal SSD, presumably with OS, they're going to be looking at like 700, 650, something like that.
So the Xbox has a 1 terabyte drive. They're left with 802 gigabytes after their formatting
and OS and stuff like that. And like the smaller the drive, the less that formatting size is.
Yeah.
So it's very likely that it won't be the same equivalency. But it would still take a bit of a hunk off it, I think. So I think it would be reasonable to think like 700.
And with games getting bigger, we're probably going to want an extra drive,
at least initially,
especially those who have got the digital version.
Yeah, but there was the promise that the games would be getting smaller over time. Now, right now, a lot of these launch games will probably be based on the older style, right? It's like
I can't wait to download my Call of Duty at 220 gig.
That's goddamn better get smaller, might I add. That better get smaller. Does this tempt you? Because like it's a lot of money, but I don't know about you, but I need storage.
I probably won't get one straight away, but I will eventually get one down the track.
Yeah.
So I have the luxury of I have very good internet where I am.
Yeah.
And downloading a new game really isn't that big of a deal. Like I never find myself in a position of I want to play this game and I want to play it right now, and if I can't play it right now, I'm just not going to bother.
Yeah.
But like it takes me, for instance, I re-downloaded Spider-Man the other night because we're gonna, we're doing like a re-review with the folks over at Operation PlayStation later. So I'm looking forward to that. So I re-downloaded that to get myself ready, and it took me half an hour. So, I understand I am very lucky in that situation where I have quite decent internet, and it doesn't really bother me having to constantly swap out games.
Yeah.
And I am also one of those people that once I'm finished with a game, I'm generally finished with that game and it gets deleted off my hard drive. It's not like I have this massive library of 50 games constantly installed.
See that I'm a little bit of a hoarder when it comes to my digital games, my games on my console. Because they're like even right now, like Red Dead's on there and it's like 120 gig, and I'm like, but I do want to go back to it.
Well, I just recently bit the bullet and deleted Destiny and Destiny 2.
Oh damn, that would be.
I'm like, I haven't played you in 8 months. See you later.
Yeah.
And there was like 300 gig free.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah, I think I think I'm just gonna have to make that call and like be like, you know what? I'm probably not gonna go back to it, but I think I will. I do want to finish that story. But yeah, like I said, I'm in a similar boat. My internet here is pretty good. I'd be able to download something reasonably fast if it wants to. I will probably try pick up a drive, maybe not at launch. Launch window at least. You know, maybe I'll see if there's a way that I can know someone and do something. You know,
one might fall off the back of a truck.
Oh yeah, I'll see what I can. I'll see what I can arrange. Because that as we transition,
I think at the least I won't be getting one until Sony officially come out with their list, and I get one that they've deemed appropriate enough to fit in their console.
Side note: don't you judge me, Dash. Don't you judge me. Yeah. Once that official list comes through, it's probably certainly going to help. But it's just expensive. You cheap mofo. Yeah. Hell yeah. Because the other problem that I have,
you're like, I just spent $750 on a console. Yes, I'm gonna.
Yeah. On top of that, like I have a wife and family and a mortgage, and there's things that I have to pay for. And if I can, if I can still do this, then sweet. And I can't use the shared Patreon money to buy me a new hard drive. You know what I mean? Like, there's some grays, but like, because now
there's some gray areas.
now with my son, and now that he's old enough to play games, there are games that I have to keep on my console at all times.
Yeah,
like he needs Spider-Man, he needs his Paw Patrol, he needs his WWE 2K Battlegrounds. And there's like that, and like even Project Cars, he's got really, really excited for lately. So like, I can't get rid of them. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, because he liked me playing Patapon, but I'm like, I'm sick of Patapon. So I deleted it. And 2 days later, he's like,
it broke him.
Can we play Patapon? Like, hey, here's this video on YouTube of all the Patapons. Beep.
Patapon's gone on holidays.
Yeah, they're gone. They don't hang out anymore. So that's the other hurdle that I have to face now. You know, you're not there yet because your little one's still too little to like play games. But look, that's totally a me problem. I shouldn't complain about it. But yeah, I'm going to feel that shit very quickly. Like, cause especially if with our intentions to play a bunch of games around launch, like obviously like your Watch Dogs, your Assassin's Creed, your Cyberpunks. Demon Souls. Sorry, I had to burp.
Come on, let's be real. That's probably all I'm playing.
Yeah, Demon Souls, Bugsnax. There's a bunch of these launch games. It's going to take a big dent out of it, though. You know what I mean? Dash goes all the way. I may be able to hook you up. He calls me out and then offers to help me. What a champion! All right, next up. So in additional Sony news, there was a release that hit the internet from PlayStation with the list of games that will not be supported by backwards compatibility. That's right, none. I ain't getting there. Get Manshake to buy you an NvMe. They didn't even buy me Manshake. Here is the devastating list of games that you cannot play, Max. Here is a list of PS4 games that will not make the way to PS5. DWVR, Afro Samurai 2, TT Isle of Man, Just Deal With It, Shadow Complex Remastered, Robinson The Journey, We Sing, Hitman Go Definitive Edition, Shadwin, and Joe's Diner. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games. When they said 99%, they went fucking around.
There's also, it's further down, and I don't know why I didn't put it right under this, but all the PlayLink titles that require the smartphone app won't work either because the PlayStation 5 doesn't support the PS4 screen share mobile companion app. So,
there's some more games.
So the PlayLink titles also won't work.
Who earns?
If people still play those.
For those curious, these titles will be marked as such in the PS Store so that way you know that they are not supported. Even though I'm pretty confident that these fucking games aren't going to be selling.
I haven't heard of a lot of these games.
I played Robinson the Journey. It was a cool VR game with dinos, but I haven't rushed back to it. Hitman Go was pretty good from all I heard. Joe's Diner, heartbreaks. I've never heard of it. That's a whole bunch of nothing. But what's interesting though is what is it about these games that make them not work?
Is it that they don't work, or is it that they can't be bothered?
Probably both. But if there is a list of we cannot be bothered, then the list would be larger. I'd presume. There could also be dead studios, says Park. Well, Hitman Go is certainly not. I forget who makes Hitman Go, but they're not dead. Dave does bring up a good point though. Imagine being that person who sees that list and goes, "Oh."
Well, I made the point to you earlier. It's interesting that Shadow Complex Remastered is on here, but not standard Shadow Complex.
But you can play the original.
Does that mean I can play the original, just not the remaster?
Guess so.
Because that seems odd.
That's very odd. But for the other 99.9997% of the games available on PS4, most of them, we've come to learn, does support cross-save. So cross-save between PS4 and PS5 has been in the news recently with a bunch of different developers saying, Sony won't let us do it. As many of them will not take Generation Leap. As part of the PlayStation blog post, Sony's Hideki Nishino has explained that it's up to the individual developers to implement the functionality. Quote, the ability to transfer game saves between a PS4 version and a PS5 version of the same game is a developer decision and will vary title by title for cross-generational games, he explained.
Because he also went on to talk about that it's not that hard to do because we did it for the Vita and PS4 for ages.
Yeah, and we're doing it right now, with all, because they've announced that all the big hunk of the first parties, all of Naughty Dog's games are doing it. I think Bloodborne's on that list as well. So they're like, well, it's doable. Maybe, I believe it was us that discussed last week, like maybe they were just told that they didn't have to. Like in the development notes, there was no conversation around it's backwards. Make your games backwards compatible. They should be available. They should be supported. And if they do, you should. Well,
I think that for the most part, the ones that aren't getting cross-gen saves are the ones that are being remastered for PS5, and I would imagine it's because they're being tweaked to a degree that the save file is different,
and that
fundamentally
can happen.
Different. Like, take Spider-Man, for instance. The remastered version on PS5 will not use your save data from PS4 because it's a different game.
Yeah, like it's remastered, like a whole bunch of new things, tweaks and assets and HDRs and all the other things. But like, sure. Yeah, so anyone that has a PS5 version in the works seems to be a bit of a problem. Because what they're talking about here is backwards compatibility. So for a PS4 game playing on a PS5. They're not discussing your PS4 saves on the PS5 version of something. Is that what they're getting at?
Yeah. I think so.
So it's that once again, it's that weird, shady communication that we've been talking about where it's like, they're getting specific enough, but also vague enough. But there's also
crazy
giving you just enough information to get confused.
Well, there's also titles like FIFA, for instance, where your save from PS4 will go across to the PS5 version, but not all of your progress will go across.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's a weird line that they need to kind of straighten out a bit.
It is a hot mess. It's interesting thing. But let's see. So in another PlayStation blog update, Sony has also confirmed that the PSVR games will not be compatible with the PS5 HD camera. We discussed this last week. And a bit more information around that. If you want to use PSVR on your next gen console, you need to use the little camera adaptery thingy.
And there's still no word on how they're getting those out to people because apparently they're free.
Yeah, there's been no communication on where that dongle's going or how you're going to get it, which is a real concern for those that want to use VR on the next gen. If anything, I think I may have speculated this a couple of weeks ago, this is demonstrating that whatever PSVR 2 is, it's not using the cameras. It is not using light tracking. If anything, I imagine it being like Oculus Quest, where it's sort of accelerometer based and it just guesses you in 3D space. Because that was one of the archaic sort of things around PSVR is that light tracking, because it's kind of not really used anymore. which is bizarre.
I mean, to be fair, they built it in mind to keep the peripherals that they already have of the light sticks, the move controllers. Sorry, I know what I'm talking about.
And speaking of the cross work, so that it has been noted that via a help page on the website, Sony has confirmed that you can transfer your digital PS4 games as well as their save data to your PS5. According to the page, there are two ways you can get your data from one to the other. The first is data transfer from your PS4 to your PS5 using a local Wi-Fi network. This method may be the best if you want to move your PS4 collection across en masse, but it does require that you have both machines present, which is fine. It may be quicker to choose the option if you have a slow internet connection or are encumbered by data caps. So
yeah, I forgot to put in the second step is just download it.
Yeah, I know that the PS4 does. The PS4 does support, because I know when I bought my PS4 Pro, they had the option of like if you just put an Ethernet cable in there and then in there and you tell it to transfer, it'll do it. And that's what I did. I just went Whoop, and I was like, okay, that was easy, and that makes total sense. Like, I wouldn't use Wi-Fi because I fucking hate Wi-Fi. In terms of data transfer, if my house is networked. If I could, I would just network to it and go boop, or I would put it on a hard drive and then put that hard drive into the console. But I don't think that's supported, so that's not going to probably work. A bit disappointing. Sony has communicated to developers that it has plans to launch a new PlayStation Store on the web and the mobile devices later this month, which will remove the ability for you to purchase content for legacy consoles such as PS3, PS Vita, and PSP. Ooh. PlayStation 4 apps, themes, and avatars will also no longer be available through the web and mobile storefronts once the changes roll out, while content from your existing wishlist will be removed. So are they replacing the themes and avatars, or are they changing how that's going to work? Once again, if those themes and avatars were based on the old cross-media bar or the old OS, if there is a new OS, which apparently every pixel has been changed,
the old UI,
then they ain't going to work on the new UI. So that's comforting news. You know that the new UI will be so drastically different that it cannot do that. Now, Max, this is the big one this week. Trophies. For anyone that collects trophies, which is not me, but for everybody else. As detailed on the same blog, the blog will tell you everything that you want to hear apart from what games are coming out this week. Trophy levels are being increased from the original up to a level of 100 to a level of 999. So to be clear, the level is the overall rank associated with your PSN account rather than the total number of trophies you've unlocked. Your new trophy level will automatically be remapped to this new leveling system with an original rank, with the new leveling system. So if you and it happens once you ping a new trophy. So I was at level something, and then I triggered it. I was playing Mafia, I got a trophy, and then bam, I got updated to the new system. So he's got to ping the server, and you're all good. Platinum trophies will now be even more valuable, and there are new icons attached to these particular ranks. Now, Max, when you did your ping, where'd you end up?
I am sitting at level 315, which puts me just in silver.
So I'm in the same boat. So I came back, so I broke into 308. And then I've just snuck up to 309 over the last day or so by getting what was it called? Spider-Man and Mafia out of the way. So getting those trophies, I'm like, boop, and I'm sitting in 300s. So we just in silver.
Did you see that there is someone already at level 999?
Yeah, so there is this one prick who looks like just he looks like he lives a miserable life. You can see it in his face. He has the world record holder for the most amount of platinum trophies. And he just looks tired. And yeah, so he's already hit 999 because that makes sense. And also, what the fuck else does he do? Apparently.
Congratulations.
I guess.
Yeah. I'm sitting on 3 platinum. I have 3 platinums.
I have 8.
And one of them is for Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
On PS3.
On PS3, yeah.
See, all my platinums are PS4s because I didn't give a shit in PS3. So are you happy with this readjustment to the trophies? It's unnecessary.
It honestly does not make any difference to me whatsoever.
Nah, not at
My
all.
number's just slightly bigger now.
Yeah.
The size of my internet wang is slightly bigger. I don't know.
Like so it looks as if they haven't allowed for the new scaling of the trophies. So right now it's just like almost like a 1 for 1.
The one thing that isn't in this that they mentioned is you can now track the progress of your trophies, and that is way better than what it was.
God damn,
that's the one thing. That's the one thing I liked about the achievement system over on the Xbox more than what I did about the trophy system, was that if, for instance, you had to collect 100 collectibles on PlayStation, it's either a yes or no state. On the Microsoft, it's you've collected 98 of these things, so you know how close you are to getting it.
Yeah.
So that's a big win, I think, for moving forward.
Big win.
All right, Ryan. It's been in the news. Let's talk a little bit more Bethesda. So, with the purchase of ZeniMax Media by Microsoft a few weeks ago, the first thought to everyone's mind was no more Bethesda games on PlayStation.
Not this guy.
So, However, earlier this week, IGN has spotted an ESRB ratings for the next-gen collections of Dishonored, Wolfenstein, and Prey titles, and there are no PS5 classifications anywhere to be seen. The ESRB now lists a Dishonored and Prey, the Arcane Collection, and a Wolfenstein Alternate History Collection purely for the Xbox Series X and S. The latter might sound familiar because the bundle actually already exists on the PlayStation Store. As with the former, the only discrepancy is that it was released under the Arcane Anniversary Collection branding. Take this with a grain of salt, but it's interesting that they're releasing ratings for Xbox consoles only. It's also worth noting that Bethesda has already confirmed that Doom Eternal and Elder Scrolls Online will both receive free PlayStation 5 upgrades in the future. But this announcement did take place before the Microsoft purchase. However, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time has an age rating only on the Xbox Series X right now, not for a PS5 upgrade. So take that with a grain of salt. I highly doubt that these are going exclusive. I doubt Crash isn't getting a PS5 upgrade. It seems crazy. It goes against everything that Microsoft have been saying with their inclusivity. It just seems crazy that they would cut off such a big market for themselves.
Yeah, so if you go back about 2 weeks for the episode of this show that we did, Max and I deep dive into this whole Bethesda ZeniMax purchase and what it means and what our predictions, presumptions of how it's going to go. Yeah, we're on the same page that it wouldn't make financial sense for Xbox to do that because $7.5 billion is a... No, was it? Yeah. No. Yes. $7.5 billion is a fuckload of money, and you are not going to get reimbursed. You are not going to make that money back just on Games Pass services and Xbox purchases. You're going to need it out there. Get it out there, bring it all the money in. And I think that's probably the smarter move because, as you said, their entire marketing is not restricting how people play. And, it's part of it. It's a hole that they dug themselves. Now they can either choose to jump over that hole and not cave and make it exclusive. Because granted, we've discussed before, PlayStation would be totally gross and just do it. They would 100% make that shit exclusive because they are, that's that.
But that's their prerogative as being the leader.
Yeah, no, but that would be their prerogative, and that would also be PlayStation running in an older system now. They're running in that old model of consoles and with exclusivities and shit like that.
Yeah,
where Xbox are trying to bring that new wave, that new future in. Which is where it's heading, to the credit. So Sony if they were to do it that way, they'd be running, as I said, that's called the old model for a reason. And it would have bit them in the butt. But yeah, they're coming. They're coming.
Do you want me to take the ghosts?
Yeah, and I'll take the quick bits.
So earlier this week, Sucker Punch confirmed that the Ghost of Tsushima Legends, the new online co-op mode, will launch on the 16th of October for free. It will also release alongside the update 1.1, which contains some major new features for the single-player story, including a new game plus, another merchant, and armor loadouts. There's even a new set of trophies you can earn during a second playthrough. So Ghost of Tsushima Legends will include story missions designed for 2 to 4 players. It'll include story missions designed for 2 players and 4-player survival missions that act similar to a horde mode as you battle waves after waves of enemies alongside your friends. A raid named Eo's Realm will also launch a couple of weeks after the release of Legends and is said to be, quote, an epic 3-part adventure that will require excellent teamwork and communication to overcome. Over on the PlayStation blog, you can also learn about the 4 classes, the Samurai, the Hunter, the Ronin, and the Assassin. All comes with their own abilities, skills, and traits to allow you to create the ultimate fighter. Is this enough to get you to dive back in, Ryan?
Not even
being the hardcore online multiplayer person you are.
that's the double thing, right? Like that's the double kick in the butt. I don't really give a poos about the game in general. And then on top of that, it's like, do you want to play an online multiplayer? Like, no.
Like, do you have friends to play with? No.
Like, how dare you make that assumption?
This is enough to get me back in. I think I'm gonna check out the online multiplayer.
Oh, really?
I have a few people that really, really like the game, and I know they would be interested in checking out the online multiplayer, and I'm a sucker for online co-op stuff.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm listening, by the way. I'm just trying to locate the top 10 best sellers.
No, you're right. I'm a big online co-op nerd.
You are a big nerd, which is certainly good. But yeah, like, you know, a bit for yourself specifically, there is, you know, like you have that big focus on playing with your friends and like there has been interest within your friends group around around this game. Like, you know, our mutual friend Noodle has been a big advocate of Ghost of Tsushima. He even contacted me going, "Hey, can I come in and review it?" I'm like, "I don't want to fucking talk about it."
Yeah, you know what I mean? You got that plat. That's well done.
Damn. That's committed. Now,
the other thing they mentioned, is after this patch, you can recruit dogs by patting them in game.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
I'm actually carrying me through the 10. I really think you're underestimating my Rocket League skills, Dave.
Alrighty, so now it looks like PlayStation Australia haven't released the top 10 selling games.
They were
however,
a few weeks ago.
You can acquire them. Oh, hang on. Can I? So I've just gone over to the IGEA website. Fantastic website. But it looks as if I cannot separate them by console. No, I can't. Well, that solves that problem then. I can tell you what the top 10 best-selling games of like everywhere is, but not what PS4. So we'll have to skip that one for this week, but that's fine. All right, let's head into the quick bits. The quick bits, for those that don't know, it's a handful of little news that isn't worth a big piece, just a bunch of stuff together. Number 1, Miles Morales has gone gold. That was announced recently. Beautiful, hit and date. It comes out that Bugsnax is also going gold. Now I'm stubborn, and this game can still go fuck itself.
Did you see the cheek that Bugsnax has?
No.
So on Twitter, they took the Cyberpunk Gone Gold image with Keanu Reeves and crossed out Cyberpunk and wrote Bugsnax on it, and then reposted the image.
So I've talked this before. Myself and good friend of the show, Paul James, he and I are at this point where we just don't fucking care about Bugsnax. Like the internet.
When did that time happen? Because it happened for me shortly after the first trailer.
Yeah, shortly after. Once the internet was like, "This song is adorable," I'm like, I don't fucking care. Go away. And then everyone's like, Bugsnax, Bugsnax. I'm like, fuck off, all of you.
A lot of people have gone hands on with it this week, and they're like, we're all expecting this hidden dark twist to happen. That there's this big bad evil guy somewhere in the Bugsnax universe.
See, like, I'm stubborn. So right now I'm like, fuck this game. Well, sorry, Dash in the chat goes, just Padge? Well, yes, but Padge and I have been very vocal about it, even on like the socials and shit. So fuck Bugsnax. Fuck it. But like, yeah, I'm stubborn and I'm like, this game could suck a dick until I play it. And even then, I'll play it and it might be fine, but I'm still probably going to tell it to suck a dick. Like the internet, the excitement, the hype, the furor around it is shitting me off.
Oh, and it's also announced that it is a launch title.
Cool. At least I know that's one game I'm not playing at launch. Yay! Worms Rumble is to receive an open beta on PS4 next month, ahead of its December release. Fall Guys Season 2 has kicked into gear. You played it, Max?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Nice.
I still suck at the game, but the new levels are interesting. Yeah. But I don't think there's enough new content. Most of the time, you are playing old maps. It didn't, so it's not like it rotated out all the old stuff and it's filled it with new stuff. They've just added the additional stuff in. Mm-hmm. But they did add for this week, at least I'm aware of, there is a gauntlet only mode, so you only play the races. There is no team based bullcrap, which is really good because the team based.
That is the button that I want.
Because the team based stuff is horrible.
And right now, there is the Call of Duty Open multiplayer beta on the PS4. It is all weekend. It is available as of this evening, if not tomorrow morning, for free. There were a couple of days of pre-orders only, but by the time you hear this, it will be either wrapped up or it's in the last day. So check it out if you have whatever. I was debating, knowing that it goes free though. I'm like, I won't rush too hard. Because I know you're interested in checking it out.
Yes, I will be downloading it tonight.
All right, Max. But so as we look, we know that Call of Duty is coming out a little while. Bugsnax coming out a little while, and as is Miles Morales. What games are coming out this week in a section we call "Coming to the Players"?
This week we have, as I pull up my list, some interesting ones. We have Remothered Broken Porcelain coming October 13th. Torchlight 3 coming October 13th. We have early access of Cook Serve Delicious 3 coming October 4th. Oh no, never mind. That's not.
No, it's coming. It's coming in October. It's coming this month. I got a press release about it the other day, and I sent them an email. I was like, "Hey man, you know."
Yeah, but according to what I'm reading, it's coming to everything but PS4 this on that date.
Yeah, possibly.
So it might be coming to us later. So just bear with me.
I got an email about it, and like, "Hey, what do you want to play it on?" I want to play on PS4. No, yeah,
and then.
It's coming.
You're keen on that, aren't you?
Yeah, because it's as I said, it's the Dark Souls of cooking games. It's unnecessarily hard. It makes me mad, but I love it.
We have Cake Bash coming October 15th, and the 9 Monkeys of the Shaolin coming October 16th.
All right, the answer is Cook Serve Delicious, everyone. I'm gonna have to play a little bit of Cook Serve Delicious too and get my skills back up, get that muscle memory going.
It's the Dark Souls of cooking games.
Have you played it? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
The level of controller button intricacy. It's like you're contorting your fingers every time you play. Like, make nachos. I'm like, fuck.
Make nachos.
I love it. The game's great. Very, very excited for this next one. Very, very excited.
It's a very quiet. I think it's going to be quiet until.
Yeah, we're at that point now where it is going. Like we're only a month out. We are literally a month. Like by the time this episode goes live, we are a month out from next generation, like to the day. And that is exciting. That is horrifying. It's a lot of emotions. I say that because there's a lot to play in a really short window of time. But like between now and the end of the month, it's pretty dead. There's not a whole lot going on. I
hope all our Australian friends and listeners who pre-ordered through JB managed to get their console paid off by Sunday to secure their spot. I think what happened was they took too many pre-orders. They don't have enough stock, and they're hoping that some people can't afford it, so they're just going to get bumped off the list. And then it's not a big deal if they don't have enough stock because there's people just aren't going to.
It's so dirty. Saying that,
and then there was the whole you can't pay with gift cards, and now you can.
Look, that I understand their original, whether it was a security concern, because how many times we hear about gift card scams?
I mean, how many times do we hear about fake $50 notes too? Like, people are still
very, very true.
Actually, people are still. I got awkward looks the other day from an old person in the supermarket when I used my phone to pay. They're like, "You pay?" I'm like, "Yeah." "You heard the beep? I tapped my card." Like, "No, you tapped your phone." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the same thing."
Yeah, so that was my original approach was like, oh, maybe it's a security thing with the gift cards. And then they come out going like, oh, yeah, online infrastructure doesn't support gift cards. I'm like, well, then fuck off. Like, then you update your system.
Yeah.
That's how it works. If it's just a security concern because of the high value item and whatever, sure. I can bend to that one. But then they're like, oh, now our system doesn't run it. Like, that's not
Your
good.
system, your system should run everything you sell.
Yeah, it's not good enough. Like right now, like I'm at an advantage. You know, like as an example with EB Games, I've got my PS5 pre-ordered. I can go in and just pay it off.
Yep.
Because like I've got I put my $200 deposit down, and then now I'm just adding a little bit every week, and bam bam. Next thing you know, it'll be here, and I've done them. And I mean, and like that's the thing. Like I ordered it online, and I can pay for it in store. Can JB do that? No. Man, the amount of like crazy things I've heard this week, people just get really shitty about not getting consoles. It's tough. Like there's a weird place. There's a mix between of me going, oh, that does suck, but me, it's like it's a very in demand item. There's never enough to go around at launch at all, and on top of that, these companies have not been adequately informed of what their actual stock levels are going to be, and to their fault, they took more orders than they can demand. Than they can meet. Like even if you don't know how many you're getting, it's safe for you to presume that that's not many. So why allow the numbers to exceed a particular threshold?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't run a business. I do, but we don't have stock. We don't do things.
My last quick rant before we wrap up. Really annoyed that Minecraft Steve is the new fighter for Smash Bros.
How disappointing would that be for everybody? I saw that and I literally scoffed. I was like, everyone's gonna be so mad.
I mean, I'm gonna have to play him because I bought the fighter pass, but like,
suck it.
Why Minecraft Steve?
And some fucking other person I've never heard of.
It's just a female-based model.
Both options are poo.
Yep.
Hope this episode hasn't been poo. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Been very little news this week.
Now, before we go, Dave jumps in and goes, it's really common for these particular game retailers to pre-order an unlimited amount without confirmation of stock levels. Now, I won't disclose how Dave knows that information, but that I trust that.
Well, considering the fact that regardless of whether or not you were getting a console, a lot of places still took a deposit from you. Like,
yeah, they still took your money. That's dirty.
I mean, I still check my eBay account every day, going, "Are you canceling my order?
Me too.
You canceling my order?"
Like, luckily, I know the store manager for the one that I'm picking it up from. I'm like, "Am I good, man?" He's like, "Yeah." There's like the first 4 people is like you, me, and some other people. I'm like, "Yeah." Because we just happened to, right on the 8 o'clock, and I was going to get it pick up. It's all good. Anyway, that's this.
I got.
Well, no,
this place, oh no! I think I pre-ordered mine at like 8:02.
Yeah,
like, I'm pretty.
And I doubt that many orders went to Warren Ponds.
Yeah. Anyway, that PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to be part of future conversations, check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All our links in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation, just like a good number of people have today, you head over to twitch.tv/popculturesweek and watch us record this show live. Become part of the chat. It's damn fun. We love having you all involved in the show. It's awesome. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you're on the YouTubes, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment that appears on them videos. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popculture, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it, which we greatly appreciate, because apparently I have a SSD to buy. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. I went skateboarding before, like thinking I'm some sort of fucking teenager again. Now that I'm trying to skateboard again, I ate shit in a car park, and my elbow and hip really hurt.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like hard. Like it doesn't look bad, but like I had that full like fat dude hit the ground thud, and like the whole and, like all the air left my body for a second, and then I had to quickly get up because I'm by myself in a car park, and I'm like someone's had a stroke. For the players, the Pop Culturist PlayStation podcast is fan-supported at patreon.com/thepopculturist. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers and our Patreon founders for their kindness, their support, and their generosity. Our Patreon founders: Alpha Ferret, Craig O'Flaherty, David Chataway, Jesse Stevenson, and Jacob Garner. And our Patreon producers: Damien Holdies, Lee Wintershoven, Sean Levitt, and Solomon Barak.